Welcome to my views and news Sunday's first video. Firstly, referendum in Tigray, independence of Tigray. Tigray as an independent country are now being openly discussed and openly preached by some Tigray influencers. Though Tigray regional government's policy about future of Tigray is a little unclear. Tigray regional government led by TPLF never spoke in detail about independence of Tigray. But some voices are getting louder now. A famous Tigray singer was interviewed 2 days ago by a pro-Tigray news outlet. What did he say about independence of Tigray? Secondly, viewers, CEO of a cement factory in Oromia has been kidnapped. Reportedly, OLA is behind this incident. Sugar factories, cement factories, banks are being targeted by Oromo Liberation Army. And thirdly, we are Somaliland, where yesterday upper house of the parliament granted 2-year extension to Musibai Abdi, Somaliland's president, and the upper house granted 5-year extension to the upper house as well. We were waiting for official response from opposition parties, UCID and Wadani. Wadani is the major opposition party led by Abdi Rahman. Just an hour ago, Abdi Rahman held a press briefing. What did he say about Musibai Abdi's term extension? Firstly, viewers, Tigray's future. TPLF-led Tigray government says that Tigray's future will be decided by the people of Tigray. Self-determination is the goal of the struggle launched by the people of Tigray. And Tigray people will never surrender their right to self-determination. That is the official position of Tigray regional government. Tigray regional government never said that it would support secession, it would support independence of Tigray as a country, though it could be one of their plans, but not made public so far. On the other hand, influencers are now from Tigray, they are now openly calling for independence of Tigray, that Tigray should be an independent country. Abraham Gebremedin is a singer, Tigray singer, one of the best known singers of Tigray. He is in Tigray these days, I think. He was interviewed 2 days ago by a pro-Tigray news outlet, and he was questioned about the future of Tigray. He said referendum should be held. Referendum should be followed by free Tigray. The host asked that what did he mean by free Tigray? Tigray as an independent country? He said yes. It means Abraham Gebremedin is supporting independence of Tigray as a country. So, regional government is in a difficult position. Tigray regional government. It is not in a position to announce independence. Why? Because Tigray is encircled on all sides by those regions and countries which are not friendly towards Tigray. A far partner of Ethiopian federal government, Amhara, southern side, again their forces involved in this war. To the north, Eritrea. To the west is only option available, but still that western part is under the control of ENDF Amhara forces. So TPLF will never announce holding of referendum and independence of Tigray until it has control of Volkayet, until it has a corridor with Sudan, which has not happened so far. But voices are getting louder for independence, for referendum in Tigray. So if TDF bounces back, suppose if TDF bounces back and somehow it changes gears and it starts and intensifies offensives deep into Amhara region and it captures western Tigray, Volkayet, we could see these voices gain more support in Tigray for independence of Tigray, though international community always says that it supports territorial integrity, it respects Ethiopian sovereignty and territorial integrity. What will happen if Tigray announced independence? Will it lose international community's support? It will happen, it can happen, I think, if Tigray announces independence, especially now. It will lose support of international community, but in the end, what matters for international community is their interests. If Tigray is in a position to protect the interests of international community, they'll back Tigray's secession. But so far, all are saying that international community, all players, that they respect Ethiopian territorial integrity and sovereignty. Means they reject secession, independence of Tigray. Secondly, viewers, Oromia, where OLA has stepped up attacks on sugar factories, banks, cement factories, their CEOs, managers are being targeted, they're being kidnapped. Factories are coming under OLA control. By OLA control means the factories have to pay some money to OLA. And in Gambela, we saw some banks were attacked by OLA more than 2 months ago when OLA and GLF attacked Gambela city. So it is a source of income for OLA, it seems. CEO of a cement factory in Oromia has been kidnapped. Reportedly, kidnappers are OLA fighters. Magar cement factory is in Vashava zone of Oromia. Adia, Barga, Voreda, Vashava zone. This cement factory's headquarters is in Addis Ababa. Factory is in Adia, Barga. And their factory's top administration visited the factory a few days ago. And when factory CEO Demise Ayalio was returning from Adia Barga to Addis Ababa, he was kidnapped by OLA fighters. He is still in the custody of OLA. Obviously, some ransom will be demanded, I think. Not the first time that we are hearing about kidnapping for ransom in Oromia. It is said that OLA is involved in these kidnappings. OLA denies, OLA says that some government-backed factions are involved in these kidnappings. But these kidnappings for ransom are a source of funding for OLA, it seems. Lastly, viewers, Somaliland, where yesterday Somaliland's upper house granted 2-year extension to the president, Musabi Abdi, and upper house renewed and extended its term as well, upper house's term for 5 years. We know that in November, on the 13th of November, presidential election was due to be held in Somaliland, but last week Somaliland's National Electoral Commission announced that it was not prepared to hold elections in November and that it needed at least 9 months to make preparations as there were some technical, financial and other issues. Constitution of Election Commission was delayed due to dispute between the opposition and government parties. Opposition has been accusing for months that Musabi Abdi, the president, was not sincere in holding election on time. On the other hand, president was saying that opposition was delaying the formation of electoral commission and registration of new political parties. So there was a deadlock, and there were protests as well in Hargeisa, in other parts of Somaliland. Now, when Upper House has granted extension to Musibei Abdi, what is opposition saying? Abdi Rahman, head of Somaliland's Wadani party, held a press briefing an hour ago. He has rejected this extension. He says, extension granted to President Musibei Abdi is unconstitutional. And after 13th of November, Musibei Abdi will not be president of Somaliland, and Wadani will not consider Musibei Abdi as president of Somaliland after the 13th of November. Other party, opposition party UCID has not issued a statement so far. Though the two parties held joint demonstrations in recent months, but press briefing was held only by Abdi Rahman. Where is Faisal Ali Warabe of UCID? It's not clear. Maybe in coming hours he might speak too. The extension has been rejected by opposition parties. What will happen now? If opposition refuses to accept Musibei Abdi as president after 13th of November, what will happen? It means things are moving towards a political crisis in Somaliland, like we saw in Somalia last year, when Farmajo was granted extension by Somalia's parliament, opposed by presidential candidates like the incumbent Hassan Sheikh. And opposition and government parties were involved in a serious escalation back then, armed escalation. What is going to happen in Somaliland remains to be seen, but opposition parties are rejecting the extension. It means that they'll launch a movement, they'll start demonstrations, they'll not sit at home. Obviously, they'll take to the streets. It will lead to further instability and political crisis in Somaliland. So, coming month, October and November are very crucial for peace and stability in the self-declared country Somaliland in the Horn of Africa. Thank you for watching.